gospel music. Fresh juice and blues.
Rainier Avenue Radio.
Hey y'all, this is Dr. Traci Harrell, and you're watching Living Powerfully and Better Together. Now, today's special for a few reasons. We get to talk a little bit about the topic that we always talk about, which is living powerfully. But we get to talk about it in reference to a conference that I just came back from, and it was the National Black MBA Association. We have an annual conference each year, bringing everyone from the 42 chapters around the country together. So all the leaders come together as well as members. And what was exciting is to be in a room, to be in a space for an entire week with individuals that are progressive, that are actually trying to do things better, that understand the climate that we're currently in, but understand that it's so much better when we do it together. So that's a phrase that I use for the empowerment series that I've been leading for a few years now as a part of the Black MBA, as a part of my company. It's All Bigger Than Me Consulting, and It's All Bigger Than Me Coaching and Training. So we really want to help people to get better, and we know it's so much better when we do this work together. So what I'm excited about is I just came back from the conference, and over the next probably 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to be highlighting some of the big lessons learned, some of the things that I found to be the most impactful. I think the first thing for me that was impactful was just, again, they talk about surrounding yourself with people that you want to be more like. Right? Don't be, eagles fly with other eagles, right? And so that's what it felt like to me. It was refreshing. It was inspiring. I don't need to be the smartest one in the room, right? And then there were some brilliant people doing some amazing things. And I was like, okay, you are the kind of people I want to work with. Like, I want to work with you all. I don't want to fight people to do better. I want to work with people who understand that we can all do better together. And so that's really what I experienced. People were talking about mindset was a huge part of the conversation, but so was the current climate, this anti-DEI climate that we're in. And I don't typically talk about it, think about it, or even worry about it because, again, the work I'm doing is for the man upstairs, right? I feel like I'm always divinely inspired to do work that I was meant to do, but to also do it for individuals that I was actually meant to work with. So I'm going to share a few notes, and that's what I'll start with, a few of the notes that I wrote down from some of the sessions. Now, one of the sessions was around storytelling. It was like, how do you tell your story in such a way that whether you're working for someone else, whether you're working for yourself, whether you're an entrepreneur or, whatever you're doing, how do you tell a story in a way that allows you to truly thrive? And so one of the things that I wrote down is some of my highlights I wanted to share today was it was called the story way. So like, here's how, or we tell our stories. And Olu Burrell was the presenter, and he talked about one of the stories that Les Brown likes to tell about the Chinese bamboo. I'm probably not going to get this right, but he talked about the root systems that build for 5 years. You plant a seed and you don't see anything pop up from the ground for 5 years. But when it does begin to bloom and blossom, right, it's the fastest growing plant in the world. I think he said something about, I'm not even going to pretend like I know, but it was something ridiculous like 6 feet in 6 weeks or something, something insane. I'm sure that's not it. But it was just a point of 5 years of building really deep root systems. Don't you love that? Like this idea of us investing in ourselves, but not just doing things so it looks like you're doing things, but like being willing to invest in deep root systems. And the theme for the conference was transform. And I'm a transformational coach. I'm certified by multiple organizations. And what gets me excited is that beliefs are the roots of your life. It's the roots of your actions. It's like what you believe will lead to what you think, your thoughts, right? Lead to your emotions lead to your actions or your inactions. And it's those actions that lead to the results that you get right in your life. So the roots is the belief. Like, what do you believe? It changes what you think and how you feel and what you do. So you want to correct and you want to be aware what your beliefs are. So I'll focus on beliefs. If beliefs are the root systems and the most productive tree in the world spends 5 years underground building roots, and then it's the fastest. The same analogy applies to you in your life. Like if you could just invest a little bit of time every day on your beliefs, investing in the root system, then everything else is just easier. It's not easy, but it's easier, right? And that's important. This is the other thing I love, and I wrote down from my notes. He was talking about telling stories, and he made a point of saying, let's not be afraid to talk about the pain, that we incur in our life's journey, in our life story. What he said, and I love this, pain is inevitable. Misery is optional. Do you love that? Pain is inevitable, but misery is optional, meaning choosing, a pain that wasn't meant for you to own is how we often do. Right? There's a thing, something happens. It wasn't ideal, perhaps, but you don't have to own it, right? You can push past it, right? You can be vulnerable. You can share your hurt. That's okay. But you also want to create a community of grace. Like there should be people that are around you, people that you know and love, that offer you grace and that you offer grace and that, that there's a different outcome because you've decided. Misery is not how you roll. Misery is optional. Pain is inevitable. Things are going to happen that are going to hurt you. Got it, right? The other quote that I loved was, you never reach your final form in your comfort zone. Do you love that? So many people are just comfortable. This is how we've been doing it for the last 20, 30, or 40 years. Just because this worked for the last 40 years doesn't mean it's gonna change, right? Your outcome for the next 30, 20, 10, 5 years, whatever it is. So I think this idea of never reaching your final form in your comfort zone is just a reminder that we have to step out of our comfort zone to truly elevate, to really get to the next level. He made a point of saying that not only does he try to do it afraid and betrayed. Ow! Right? We can do it afraid and we can do it betrayed. Like if someone has hurt you, they've harmed you, they've betrayed you, right? It's like, again, you can be hurt. Pain is inevitable, but you don't have to be miserable. That's optional, right? So being able to do it afraid and betrayed was beautiful to me. He also talked about these stories that we are still authoring. Like whatever has happened to you in the past, that is just that. It is the past, right? It is your history. But what you get to decide is, what does your future look like? These are decisions that you get to make. Bad things happen. It didn't work out the way I thought it was going to work out. But I get to choose to move forward. I get to choose to live powerfully. These are choices. So not only can you do it afraid, but you just remember that this story is something that you're still authoring. Meaning you're still writing your story, right? And the fissures that remain, those cracks that remain, can sometimes be more powerful than the actual, incident itself. Because we pour into those. We think about them, we percolate on them. It's like, you can let them go. Like you get to decide how deep something fractures, right? Your spirit. And you can decide, no, I choose not to speculate in misery. I'm going to continue to move forward. And so I love that. I love that. He talked about this concept of pain, and he said heroes are changed positively by pain. He said villains choose to allow the pain, right, to harm them. He talked about victims are crushed by the pain. Villains turn the pain again into something negative, but the hero is the one that says, how do I make sure that this doesn't happen again to me or to anyone else, right? So it's like you decide that you're going to choose joy despite what has happened, right? These are choices, right? Choosing well. And then a guide is something, again, think about the hero's journey. A guide is someone who helps heroes. A guide is someone I consider myself a guide, a Sherpa. Sherpa is a term, for someone who's like mountain climbing. And, when you have someone who's gone on the path and you're like, hey, I want to help someone else on this journey. A Sherpa is someone who can guide you on your journey as well. And I love that. One of the things that I think you've heard from me multiple times is this concept that failure is feedback. What appears to be failure, if something didn't go your way, it's feedback, it's information. It's not a true failure per se, it's feedback. You get to decide what happens.
That's a powerful way to think about guidance and setbacks.
My phone was talking to me. I don't know what that was, but okay. So again, you get to decide how I love that. Sorry. But you get to decide when something doesn't work out the way you had hoped. We talk about with positive intelligence, every situation can be turned into a gift or an opportunity. If failure is feedback, then, you get to use it for yourself. You get to, decide, if vulnerability is one way that you can connect with people, then you want to use your feedback to improve your performance and the performance of others, right? Those of us who are willing to trust the process, that means you trust that if you have something that you've learned, that you can share it with others and they will benefit too. That's part of why I do this show. There's so many things that I wanted to share, that I will share, that I will continue to share. And this is part of it, right? Knowing that failure is feedback, right? You get to decide what it looks like for you. This is the other thing I wrote down was invest in your own vulnerability, and give yourself grace. How many times does something not work out the way you thought and then you kind of beat yourself up for it, over it? The setback, whatever it is, it's temporary. You can fuel the lesson learned from that and fuel the positivity that comes from that. So it's really about knowing how to pivot and making sure you're getting joy in anything that you're doing, even the things that appear to be setbacks. Like I said, if failure is a feedback and you're like, everything will work out for my good, I know that. Spiritually, scientifically, right? If you believe that to be true, then that is your truth, right? If you believe that this horrible thing is going to run your life, that too, you can make that true as well. But that's not how we roll. That's not how people who watch this show, Living Powerfully, that's not how we roll. We know better, right? We know that we can reset. We can reflect on your success. So when I talk about the reset, right, there's a few things that when you think about authenticity, one of our speakers shared these letters. She said PMRJV. Those are the 5 things that she uses on a daily basis. PMRJV. And you would have heard these words on this show before as well. She says P is her prayer. M is for meditation. R is for reflections. J is for journaling, and V is for visioning. And we've talked about these words before, but when you're in the middle of the daily doing, people say life be lifing, so to speak. When you're in the middle of challenges, it's important to just know how to reset, right? How to reflect on your success, how to really focus on recalibrating. right? Reminding yourself that I am wonderful and fearfully made, right? Remembering that you are, and remember all the things that you can do and that you have done. So reminding yourself of the great things that you've done, and then lead with that, right? Don't let a negative situation turn you into someone who's percolating and spending more time thinking about the negative than the positive. So when we think about transform, this is just from one session, by the way. So I had 5 days of amazing content. One of the things I love most was about kind of the reflection and the resetting. It was recalibrating and remembering who you are, and say the things that you can do. Say them out loud to remind yourself about how extraordinary you truly are. That's what you can do, right? Remember that, if you're focused on coaching, you want to uncover the solutions that you have within yourself. That's what coaches do. We help you to say, this is something that I already know. This is something that I do. This is how I can show up for you and for others. Now we're continuing what we talked about last week. So again, back to the concept of failure. Failure is a part of any journey. We know that to be true. We also know that it's necessary and you got to be ready for it. But you're asking yourself the right questions when it comes to anything that didn't work out the way you had hoped, right? Just say, what did I learn from that? And how do you push forward? That's all you need to focus on. That's all you really need to ask yourself in these moments is, what can I do differently and how can I move forward? I'm gonna share a little bit more, then I'm gonna go into what I actually prepared for today. So what I also loved is, this is what one of the ladies said. She said, if your fear is failure, this is what I asked myself 3 questions. She said, if I move forward, will I be homeless? Am I going to die if I do this thing? If I move forward with this thing? Then she said, am I going to lose my teeth? It's funny that she said that, because I actually have that as one of my little, back of my head kind of fears. And so I want to remind each of you to take the risk. If the feelings are real, you can acknowledge the feelings, but don't be overwhelmed by them. And don't be overwhelmed by disappointment for something that did not work in your favor. Look at what's next and then celebrate your wins constantly. So again, you get to choose joy. If failure is something that has occurred in the past or something that you fear more than anything else, you just have to take the risk anyway and know that failure is a part of the journey and it's okay, right? These were the 3 mindset shifts that one of our speakers shared as his top 3. He said, number 1, embrace failure. See it as a gift. It's part of the journey. Number 2, take ownership of your setbacks. So basically own them. It's okay. We all fail. Things don't always work out, but what can you learn from your failures? What can you learn from mistakes? And then the other words that he shared was flexibility and finesse. Finesse, like how do you move through in the moment? And it really is about being in the moment, right? Showing up with flexibility and showing up with finesse. So here are some of the things that I'm going to share. My big promise today is that I want to help you continue to transform, right? To lead, to partner, and to finish the year in excellence. So I'm going to give you basically a 10-day action sprint and an accountability partner. That's me. So between now and the next 7 days, you're going to come back, and I'm a transformational coach. I'm also a birthday girl, right? Whose celebration of life is about a catalyst for communal elevation. Like, how can I help our community to elevate? So I'm confident that this is something that I can and will do for you. And this is all about Black excellence. So again, I mentioned my name is Dr. Traci Harrell. We don't talk transformation, we walk it. We show up and make sure you know what to do. So if your phone is buzzed, put it down and on do not disturb, right? Your destiny is calling. So we're asking you to put everything down and just focus for these next minutes on this process. On my birthday, I decided I'm not counting years, I'm compounding them. This room will compound together. Compound, right? Who's ready to end this year in excellence? Who's ready to truly transform confidently, with candor? We consent, right, to be truly open. This is about co-elevation, and it's truly about celebration. How do we celebrate as we transform? And you might be asking, why transform? Why do we keep using that word transform, right? Transform is not a mood, it's a model, right? It's a sprint, it's a partnership, it's an opportunity to just do the right thing with excellence, to do the right thing for you. There's like a transform framework, right? Transform. I'm gonna tell you my little acronym for transform. Transform. So if I'm focusing on transform, my birthday truth is that legacy is about leaving and living your legacy now. Not saying what you're going to do, but like doing it now. Let people see you and watch you and say, I want to be like that person. Not what they say, but I want to mimic what they do. And that's how I want to show up. So the truth, it changes everything. Everything. So I'm going to talk about the transform framework. This is my framework for truly transforming. The T in transform is tell the truth, right? What's really driving you? What drives your calendar, your daily walk, right? We want to do this with kindness, not excuses. What had happened was, right? No. Be kind to yourself, but really be truthful with yourself. A lot of people aren't that, and they don't want other people to tell them the truth either. They're comfortable when people tell them what they want to hear. That is not me, and that'll never be me, and that shouldn't be what you want to do if you're focused on truly transforming, right? So the T in transform is tell the truth. The R in transform is recommit to your purpose. Find your why, right? And that'll lead to your how. But first, it's your why. It's being focused. Like for me, I want God to say, well done, right? So it's really important to tell the truth, T, R, recommit to your purpose, your why. The A is to audit your energy and also audit your time, right? So you want to delete things that drain you, delete people that drain you, delete people that are not living the life that they, say is their direction, right? So you want to be comfortable deleting people, but you also want to delegate. If you're a business person, if you're a leader in any form, you want to make sure your energy, as you audit your energy, make sure you're able to delegate the things that other people can do so you can do the things that are most pressing and priorities for you. So T in transform is tell the truth. R is recommit to purpose. A is audit your energy and audit your time, your calendar, right? N is to use the word network as a verb, right? It's better when we do this together. So connect with people who have a like vision. Connect with people who are doing what you would like to do. Make connections, network as a verb, map it out, and then practice it. Like you're going to help others and other people are going to help you. So there's some reciprocity that comes with this networking concept, right? You want to be around people that are leading a life aligned with the life that you want. People that are pouring into you that are positive, right? And aligning with the goals that you've set up in your life. So again, transform, TRA, tell the truth, recommit, and audit your energy. And N is for network, using network as a verb, right? The S in transform is skill up strategically. Skill up, meaning level up, right? There are so many things that we all can learn, and you don't have to learn them all. If you just learn one new thing a day, Even if you learn one new thing and applied it throughout the week, that's skilling up. That's leveling up. That is part of your transformation. You got to tell the truth about the thing that you want to transform. You want to recommit to your purpose. Why is it so important? You want to audit your energy and think about how you're truly investing your energy and your time, right? And you want to network. You want to connect with other people. It's better together that are doing similar things. Then you want to skill up. That's the S in transform, right? You also want to finance your freedom. Decide the number, whatever dollar amount, time, energy that you want to fund your legacy, your future, right? You can't just talk about it. You do have to be about it. So you have to finance your freedom, finance your future. You got to fund it, invest time in the thing that you say you want to create, transform. The F is to finance it, right? With time, with money, whatever it means. Invest in a coach, right? Do the work, do the thing, and really create a space for you to truly transform. The O in transform is own your outcomes. Own them. Measure what matters. And then publish your scoreboard. You got to, again, if you're not measuring it, the likelihood of you tracking it, staying on top of it, seeing when it's not where you want and investing more energy perhaps there, or just changing your methodology, right? So owning your outcomes is about the data side of it, right? Measure what matters most to you. The R in transform, you might be surprised by this R. I could have said a number of different R's. And at first I had a number of them listed. And then I thought, okay, let me stick with the one that I think is the most powerful in this moment, and it's rest. I know I could have said 100 different things, but rest deliberately. Rest is a revenue strategy. Like if you're actually rebuilding, allowing yourself to rest, there's such power that comes. If you're just running, Debrina calls it ripping and running, right? Always, and you don't create time to actually rest deliberetely, that will also prevent you from truly transforming. So we got the TRANSFOR. M is multiply your impact. So you want to, again, back to mentoring and sponsoring and build systems that will last you, and that you could also share with others. But first, you got to do it for yourself. So when I say multiply the impact, I was actually I'm supporting some people, in a number of different ways, and I'm using AI for that purpose. I'm a certified AI consultant, but if I'm not using it for myself first, I kind of had to pause. I was helping someone. I was like, wait a minute, let me do this myself and make sure I can, testify that this particular solution would be great for this person and this group, this organization, which is less technical than I think, that many people are. Like, it's okay. There's no judgment, but like, how can I help you to multiply your impact? So let me repeat the transform framework. Tell the truth, recommit to your purpose, audit your energy, network as a verb, right? Skill up strategically is the S in transform. F, finance your freedom, right? O, own your outcomes. That's about measuring what matters. Rest deliberately is the R, and M is multiply your impact. Again, you want to build systems, right? So you want to make sure you are creating a space where you realize, oops, looks like I'm at time. That was good, right? Hold on. So it looks like we're going to go on a break. And we'll be right back. I'm going to tell you even more about what you can do to live powerfully and to get better together. And again, we're in October, the last 2 days of September, and we'll be in October, November, December, y'all, 3 months before the year is over. So we're going to talk about what you can do to end the year exceptionally well, with excellence, and achieving those goals that you may not have made a lot of progress on. That transformation that you were talking about in January, you're like, not quite there yet. We're going to be talking about transforming. We're going to continue to talk about it and what you can do to truly transform. So stay with us right here, y'all, on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Rainier Avenue Radio.
Love food? Here's some storage tips to keep it fresh longer. Store cut fruits and vegetables in the fridge. Place in reusable containers. Keep bread in the freezer for longer storage. 40% of food in the U.S. goes uneaten. Save money, save food, save the planet. Visit Seattle Public Utilities for more tips.
Hello, listener. What's important to you about what's going on in your community? Are you interested? Are you concerned? In any case, I invite you to tune into my show, Seattle Here and Now, on Rainier Avenue Radio.org. Why? I will be covering a wide range of topics important to you and impacting the community. Each show will have a special guest or guests to share with you information on a variety of subjects that are happening here and now in Seattle. I promise I will work hard to make my show informative, interesting, and entertaining. Be sure to listen to Seattle Here and Now on Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
So I needed to check my kids' immunization records for their school. My doctor told me I could get them quickly online, but I couldn't figure out how. Thankfully, I could turn to Link to Care WA for help. With Link to Care WA, I was able to learn how to use online health portals, use telehealth to talk to my doctor virtually, and even apply for jobs online. I called their free hotline and got help from a real person. Call Link to Care WA at 866-757-1832 or visit linktocarewa.org.
Happy Hump Day.
Okay.
We're excited that you decided to join us for the party. Fresh Juice is live Wednesday night, 9 to 11 p.m. Pacific time on Seattle's Rainier Avenue Radio with the Juice Pack, including me, Superstar TK, Pint-Sized Patron, and D-Money. We're going to chop it up with some cool people, play some really dope new hip-hop and R&B music, some games, and maybe even a live performance. Lock us in right now on Fresh Juice YouTube page at youtube.com/@Fresh Juice Media or subscribe to us on Spotify or Apple Music.
Fresh juice exclusive.
A teacher who hurt their back and got prescribed opioids. A daughter trying to cope with a loss in the family. A friend silently struggling, thinking they'll be a burden if they ask for help. People with addiction come from all walks of life. And the truth is they stand a better chance at recovery with our support. Reaching out and sharing local resources can make all the difference. Don't count them out. More people recover with support. Find more ways to help at supportaddictionrecovery.com. That's supportaddictionrecovery.com.
Here with the Rainier Avenue Radio traffic update. You can listen to us in your car 24/7 anytime by downloading the free TuneIn app. Once you do, search Rainier Avenue Radio. And remember, do not curse out your fellow drivers. This has been your Rainier Avenue Radio traffic update.
Hey, y'all. This is Dr. Traci Harrell, and you're watching Better Together and Living Powerfully. And as I mentioned, I recently celebrated a birthday. Yay! And it's end of September, beginning of October. And one of the things that I am committed to doing is helping each person who watches this show really focus on living powerfully. So whatever goals that you set up for yourself at the beginning of the year, many of us are saying, scratch. Okay, kind of the year is come and gone with all the shenanigans that are happening. You know, we get distracted, right? So what we want to make sure that you're ending this year in excellence. Here's a little cheat sheet, and then I'm going to go into greater detail. But this is what we're going to talk about for the second half of this show, is deciding what is that big win that would make this year extraordinary for you. Even if nothing else changes, you can't. And again, don't be talking about and thinking about what if somebody else does something. What can you do for you? That's really what we want you to focus on. So I have a whole, like I said, I have a lot of detail, but you think about what is that big win that will make this year extraordinary for you, that will make you proud. And then we're going to schedule a sprint. Like, think about what you can do every day, even if it's just for 7 days between now and our next show, 10 days, right? Whatever it is. What can you do consecutively every day? The same daily routine at the same time. What's one thing you can do, right? And what I like to do also, when you think about ending the year in excellence, this is a little cheat sheet. I'm kind of starting with the end in mind, so I'm going to circle back to this. But you want to reduce the friction. What's caused you friction up until now? What are some of those things? How do you reduce the friction, right? For example, if you say you want to work out, prep the night before. How do you get your clothes out? How do you chop up some vegetables early on one day during the week while you're sitting down watching your favorite show, right? How do you get files or documents prepared when you might be doing something else? So how do you get to do one little thing? Again, we talked about this. We talked about this many times, but I've had people reach out to me and still say that they're struggling. So I know it's a problem, right? I know many of us are in a position where we're not doing exactly what we would have liked to have seen happen by this point in the year. And it's okay. No judgment. Cutting yourself some grace and saying, what am I going to do right now to achieve some of the goals that I identify? You can't do them all. We get it, right? You're not going to commit. If you said at the beginning of the year that you wanted to lose 100 pounds, you can't say I want to lose 100 pounds now in the next 30 days or the next 90 days when that was your goal for the year. You gotta, you gotta realistically decide what's a big win. And it has to be about what are the steps that you can take that will make you proud, that will be moving you in the right direction. So decide what the big win is. Schedule a sprint, meaning schedule something that you're going to be able to do every day. So you want to schedule success, right? Decide the big win. What's the overall goal? Schedule your success, right? Reduce the friction. So again, go backwards and do some of the pre-work, right? Then you also want to protect your energy. I use energy in my little transform framework earlier. Talking about energy, how you manage your energy is really important. So if you're saying, I want to sleep for 7 hours, I want to drink more water, I want to wake up, and allow myself an hour of, meditation or whatever it is, you want to protect your energy. And if there are people that cause you some stress, you want to pour into yourself before having those engagements. You also want to plan your outcome, right? And you also, so again, this is a cheat sheet. This is you start with the end in mind. So you want to decide what the big win is. You want to schedule your success. We want to reduce the friction. So do some pre-work. You want to protect your energy. So again, if you got to rest some more and drink some more water and prep, you want to do that. You also want a public scoreboard. I talked before about transform, how you want to share your progress with your partner or someone. Like do some kind of daily check-in. Did I do the one little thing? It doesn't have to be huge. What's the one thing you can do that will help you schedule your success? And then you want to celebrate those micro wins, the little things. You can celebrate the inputs, not just the output. If your input is, oh my God, I made salad today. Yay, I prepped my salad for the week. Yay, I actually filled up this 40-ounce bottle of water 3 times today. Yay, that's an input. You celebrate that. The output of all the things that I've done, right? Which means my weight is going down. It is. I'm excited to say that it is. But I get to celebrate when I do the work that's leading to the outcome that I want. So we're asking you to celebrate the inputs, not just the outputs. So you want momentum to be part of your metric for success. So when you're scheduling success, I mean, so schedule the things that are going to be momentum toward your outcome. So again, if you're ending the year in excellence, you're not exhausted. You're excellent, right? Period, right? Remember, if it's not on your calendar, if you're not planning it, it's just in your imagination. So you got to plan things out. At least I know I do. I have to plan things out. You have to put things on a schedule. Just like you brush your teeth in the morning, you kind of do it subconsciously now. What other thing can you do subconsciously, right? There's a link with something that you already do, right? And I know some obstacles are real, right? And some are just, I'm going to use this term, uncharged laptops. So all you got to do is charge your laptop. It's not really a problem. It's not really an obstacle. There's some things you can do the night before when you go to bed, charge you know what I mean? There are things that you can do. So when I say plan ahead, right? Plan for success. Don't call an obstacle an obstacle. Don't let something little get in the way of you truly succeeding and creating the life that you desire. And then don't chase balance. You want to build a rhythm that you can dance to. So people talk about, finding balance. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that looks like. But I feel really good when I wake up to these like water view locations. Even though it's raining, I look at boats sailing and, it's like it feels so good, right? So I don't necessarily chase balance, whatever that means. Again, this needs to be your definition, but I do build a rhythm that you can dance to, right? So for each of you, here is part of the story. And we have a few minutes, but I want to make sure that as family, we're going to end this year in excellence. Not exhausted. We're going to end in absolute excellence. And this is about the legacy building, right? You want to say that by December 31st, I will, and then insert a measurable outcome. So that, and then whatever legacy reason you have in your mind, you want to say, I will do this by this time so that, whatever it is. So write that out. Make one thing that would make the year proud, make you proud by the end of the year. If nothing else moves, right? Type one big win in your notes, just one thing. If it's vague, it's not a win. It needs to be something that you can touch, right? Something that you can, that's tangible, right? One outcome that would make the future you hug, that will make your future you hug your present you and be like, good job. Good job, right? I know, I love that. So again, we talked about transform. This is about transforming together, right? So blocks 10 days and say for 30-minute window, same time every day, I'm going to do one thing, right? This is scheduling your success, right? You can put it on your calendar, 10 days, 7 days, whatever you want to do. But if it's not on your calendar, remember, it's in your imagination, right? You want to have rhythm that you can dance to. The cadence is, it's something that you love. I can't tell you what is going to work for you. I can help you. I can coach you. But really, we already know, right? We talked about the list of elements that are going to help us to get here, right? We're deciding the big win, scheduling your success, reducing your friction, protecting your energy, having a public scoreboard, and then celebrating the micro wins. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this concept of you already decided your big win, right? This is one thing that I'm going to do. For me, I am going to have new habits. I'm going to continue to build these habits. I'm really proud. I've lost weight and I've thought about doing Ozempic, but then I'm like, Traci, you got too many natural remedies and habits that you haven't even really done the work on. So I'm being honest. I was like, you got to do the work. Like for Traci, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but for me, what I've committed to is drinking the water, eating the vegetables, and doing my workout and taking my vitamins. I have all kind of vitamins and supplements. I'm not even taking that. How about I fuel my body, right, the way I want to? So that's what I'm doing. So those are my inputs, right? The output, I feel better. I look better. My weight's gone down slowly and I love it. Like, so that is my measurable input. So you don't have to worry about the outputs, right? You want to measure the inputs. What things are you going to do? I wanted to kind of break it down for people. What are the things that you're going to do so that you're measuring the steps? You're measuring the inputs. The outputs will take care of themselves. You want to measure the input. This is about building habits, right? Over the next 3 months, you want to build habits that you can be proud of, that you flow into the next year. And these are just things you used to have to think about, but now you've been intentional about them for 3 months, right? For 7 days and then 7 more days, or do it for today and then do it for the next day. You know how they talk about just doing it doing it until it becomes natural, become a habit. So you're talking and then you're celebrating it. When you do it and you celebrate these little wins, your brain is like, I love that. I'm going to do more of that. This is good for us. So that's why you do a little thing and you celebrate it, right? So you want to block the same time every day. It doesn't take a whole lot of time, but you do have to put it on your calendar, right? We also talked about reducing friction. I'll talk a little bit about that, right? So if tonight you want to set up tomorrow's success, that's reducing friction. You want to get yourself ready, even if it's like planning. Okay, looking at your calendar. Okay, this is what I'm going to do during this time, right? If it's laying your clothes out or getting a workspace stage for the next thing that you're going to do, right? Find what you need to do, focus on it, and then fuel it. The 3 F's check is what I call it, right? Find what you need to do, focus on it, and then fuel it. That's the reducing friction, right? What do you need to find beforehand? How will you focus on that one thing? And what fuel sets you up? Meaning, is it water? Is it a snack? Do you need some music and a special playlist? Get it ready. That's reducing friction. That's the 3 F's. Find what you need, focus on it, and be ready to fuel that action that you want to take. And again, I've had people say, Traci, I'm just not motivated to do it. You got to do it. You're doing it, and that you be it. You do it, and you become it, right? So it's like I talk about Fit Traci. Fit Traci loves water. Fit Traci really doesn't like sweets that much, right? So you want to find the things you love, you want to focus on them, and then you want to fuel them, right? Even if it's just putting a sticky note on your microwave that says, something, prepare for the future. So preparation is just future. It's a future you sending your current you a love note. Does that make sense? So if you think about future Traci and current Traci, preparation, this whole concept of reducing friction is really pouring into yourself. It's finding, focus, and fueling your success, right? Okay. Then you want to protect your energy. We talked about that. If you need to sleep for 7 hours, right? You want to defend one quiet start where you're like, I'm not going to pick up my phone, right? At bedtime, I'm going to grown people need bedtimes too, right? So you could add a sleep reminder to your phone. You can turn your TV, put a sleep thing on your TV if that's your thing. But rest is a revenue strategy. And I know many of us, your brain is not a vending machine, right? Stop shaking it for ideas, right? Your brain is just, it needs rest too. So does your heart, so does your spirit. So you want to calm, you pray, meditate, and you'll be fueled in the right direction for sure. Okay. Public scoreboard. So we want to, whoever your accountability partner is, you want to text them and say, this is what I'm going to do, right? And I'm going to a daily check. I'm going to do one thing, and I'm going to send it to you after each time I do the one thing, right? And you got to make it super easy, something that you can definitely do, and then you can increase. But I'm just going to drink this water before 8 o'clock. I'm going to get one of these in. I'm going to take my vitamins and get one of these in before 8 a.m. every day. Easy. I can celebrate that because I wasn't doing it before. And I know when I do, it just starts your day. They call it these keystone habits. You do one little thing and then it leads to the next thing and the next thing. So don't underestimate a small little thing. So for me, like I said, if I can drink this 40 ounces of water, and take my vitamins and supplements, which actually sounds more than it should because I have a lot of supplements that I could take. I have my main little medication. And then I have vitamin D and magnesium and the things, green tea extract. Like I have some things that I would love to take. There's no reason for me not to. So if every day, and I hadn't set a time, to be honest. So sometimes the day will go and I'll be at the end of the day sitting there taking my supplements, and it's fine because take them in the night, it's fine. But the truth is, if I set a time in the morning, that would be even better. So that's what I'm doing right now in front of each of you. And I'll tell you honestly, because remember, tell the truth was the first T in transform. You got to tell the truth. A lot of people aren't ready for it, but all I can do is tell you the truth. So I will promise you, I will be planning to drink water, take my supplements, and lead my best life. Yes, moving forward. Now, this last part, this public scoreboard says you can text someone. I'm telling you all, you guys are my public scoreboard, right? You send a text to someone, but when it's public, it's predictable. When somebody's watching you, your best self does show up. So that's why this concept of a public scoreboard, right, is what we mean. And public can just be you and your significant other. It could be your bestie. It could be me. Reach out to me online. I'd love to be your partner in success. I'd love that. I'd love that. I volunteer to celebrate you and to support you along the way. The last element of this, which is probably one of the most important when it comes to mindset shifts and truly transforming, is celebrating these micro wins. And I know a lot of us are like, what? So when I break it down like this, I hope it makes sense. I'm talking about celebrating the inputs as well as the outputs. I did a thing that's going to lead to this goal. I'm celebrating the thing. I did another thing that's going to lead to this goal. I drank my water. I chopped up some vegetables. I chose well, right? I ate, if you're used to eating, going to what do you call it? Those fast food places and getting things from fast food. And instead you packed your lunch. Success. Like that's a micro win, just having it done, right? Celebrate yourself. Your brain needs to be like, oh, okay. And then each time something happens, you get to say out loud, I kept my promise to myself today. Can you hear me? I kept my promise today to myself. That's momentum. I moved, for 15 minutes today, 30 minutes today. And whatever it is, whatever your commitment is to yourself, keep your promise and make it small enough that you can't not do it. Right? So we're ending this year in excellence, right? Not exhausted. We said that. We're going to be excellent. So what we're asking you to do, again, it's about truly transforming. Remember, deciding your big win. Say by this date, December 31st, or you can just say by next week, by October 7th, right? The next 7 days, this is what I'm going to do. This is the one thing I'm going to do. But you want to attach it to something bigger to say, when I do these things for the next 3 months, for example, this is the big win. And then you can back it down to what is the win that you have for this week, right? And then you want to schedule the sprint, right? You want to schedule your success. Same day window within a short period of time. This is what I'm going to do, right? And you want to add reminders. So you want to schedule your success, right? We talked about reducing friction. So night before, prep, find whatever you need, files, links, food, clothes, whatever it is. Focus on just one single thing, just one. Focus on that one thing and then fuel it. Whatever you need to get yourself excited about doing it, that's the fuel, right? Even if it's just a sticky note on the fridge that says, choose well, grab your water, whatever, right? Whatever it is. For me, I need ice. Whenever I'm about to drink water, I have to make sure wherever I'm at, my thing has ice and water in it, right? Because then I can just take it to the head, as they say. Okay, reduce friction, protect your energy. We talked about sleeping, hydrating, quiet starting. So again, minimize the things that drain you by protecting your energy. And that even includes minimizing people that drain you, right? And then we talked about a public scoreboard. That was kind of number 5, right? Text whoever it is, stay connected to whoever it is, but you want to connect. You want to make sure people are aware of who you are and what you're doing. And then celebrating your micro wins, okay? So remember these things. If it's not on your calendar, it's just in your imagination. It's less likely that you're going to achieve it. And then you want to make sure, this is kind of a little recap, right? How it works. You do anything, a habit, less than 10 minutes a day. Right? Even if it's just a micro move, right? Identify one word that you embody. I'm a finisher, right? I'm amazing. I'm excellent. I'm exceptional. I'm about high impact. So you want to speak into reality, right? Who you are, and then walk in that, right? And then whatever workflow, when, where, how, it makes it inevitable. You want to lay out a plan so that it's inevitable. Whatever that one thing is that you want to do, make it inevitable. Now, I know I'm short on time. I'm going back to look and see how much time I actually have. So I have a couple more things I can share. It looks like I got 2 more minutes. Okay. So we talked about transforming, right? Deciding the big win, scheduling the sprint, reducing the friction the night before, the day before, protect your energy, having a public scoreboard, and celebrating the micro wins. So much more I could say about those things, but I'm just asking each of you to truly create a space where you are 100% closed-minded when it comes to failure. meaning failure is not an option. Just say that. For me, failure is not an option. Success is the only option. And we're giving you very tangible things that you can do. I started out talking about National Black MBA Association, the national conference that I went to. I'll bring back even more formal content from them. I shared a little bit from one of the sessions that kind of got me excited about telling my story. So what I decided to do is part of this lessons for each of you and this insight for each of you as far as how do we transform is I'm going to make sure that I'm, using my own story as a part of the transformation, but I'm also going to be asking each of you to tell me about your story. So it looks like I got a couple of announcements to share. So stay with me. Yay. So tomorrow we're going to ask you, so that's the end of the show for today. Living Powerfully and Better Together. But we have some announcements from Rainier Avenue Radio. So tomorrow you can join us for political coverage for this year's election on Rainier Avenue Radio with a live interview at 3 p.m. on Juan on Rainier with U.S. House candidate Shama Sawant, hosted by Juan Cotto, followed by a conversation with Seattle Community Police Commission at 5 p.m. on police surveillance cameras that are live in Washington. And there's going to be a Metro League High School 3A football this Friday on Rainier Avenue Radio at 7 p.m. featuring Franklin at West Seattle. And I think that's all of the announcements for Rainier Avenue Radio. Okay, so I think that's all the time we have. I might let him talk me up. How many? Do I got 2 more minutes? Let me see what he says. What does he say? Okay, I don't know how many minutes I have. So I'm just going to end and say how grateful I am for Rainier Avenue Radio. I'm grateful for the National Black MBA Association, Seattle chapter, but the national organization. Again, I just came back from a conference and it was exceptional. I felt inspired and definitely on purpose. This is part of why I show up here every week, is because God has put so much in me that I want to share. And this is the space where I'm grateful to be able to do that. So if anyone has any questions, you can reach out to me at Traci at itsallbiggerthanme.com. And that's all. Get him. And if you have a challenge that you have been working on throughout the year, email me. I'll use you as an example. I'll consult and coach with you for free. And we will make this thing happen. So there's so much more to come. I'm going to be talking about AI. I'm going to be talking about transforming. We got so much more to talk about, y'all. Mwah. More to come. We'll talk to you soon. This is Dr. Traci Harrell, and you're watching Better Together and Living Powerfully. More to come. Bye.